So you don't want a bad girl.
Right.
What's like a bad threshold? Let's play good girl, bad girl.
Okay.
I'm inventing this game right now.
All right.
So... Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lauren's Dreamhouse. I am Lauren LaRoe, but who gives a fuck about me? I am here today with the icon of my life and a good friend. Introduce yourself, brother.
My name is Tom Myers, and I give a fuck about Lauren LaRue.
Oh,
so
really?
Let's just
This is
let's
great
just
news.
put that there. Let's just put that out there. I have been accused of not exactly having my thumb on the pulse of what people seem to like culture wise. So I'm a trailblazer in that regard.
You're a trailblazer in the fact that you know me and give a fuck about me, and therefore
Yes.
that makes that you have your finger on culture.
Yes.
I like that for you and me, that I have anything to do with culture at all, and that we like each other and that we're friends.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm so happy that you could join me here in New York. You typically call into podcasts. I feel very grateful that we get to spend some time face to face.
I do. I'm
here
in
at
favor.
Gotham Podcast Studios.
Yeah, it's a very nice place. I'm in favor of doing stuff over Zoom, just because I do my own podcast, Tom Myers versus the rest of the world, over Zoom, just because it's a lot of low overheads, and I just have to pay the Zoom fee, the Zoom subscription, and then the service that distributes the podcast, Acast.
Mm-hmm.
I just have to I just have to pay for that stuff.
Right.
And then also I can have guests from literally anywhere in the country, anywhere all over the world. Like I've had guests from, I record in Maryland where I live. And we've had guests from New York City, phone in from Orlando, Los Angeles. We did one where we had a comedian who was based in Kiev.
Wow.
So we had him call in to talk about what was going on in Ukraine and
Who was it?
And his perspective. It was a comic named Misha Kalin. He was born in Belarus originally.
Cool.
And I moved to Ukraine, and for obvious reasons, likes it a lot better there than Belarus.
He likes Ukraine better right now.
I mean, because it's more. I mean,
I would not want to be in Ukraine right now.
I mean, Ukraine's doing a lot better now. I mean, they're winning.
Sure.
But in terms of like the system, the form of government that they have set up,
Right.
like the elections there are more free as opposed to like what Putin's does every single year that he's been that he's gotten into office. He's basically rigged everything
Right.
in his favor by just outlawing certain candidates, certain political parties.
Right.
It's what
Putting his foot down like a man.
it's what Trump tried to do in 2020, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but that's cool. It's cool that you have access to so many people, that your podcast reaches so many people. You are very successful, and again, I'm glad that you carved out some time for me and that we can hang out a little bit today. So thank you. We were talking a little bit earlier about our train situation. I'm coming from New Jersey, and my
condolences.
Yes, thank you very much, babe.
I've got family in Southern Jersey, so I've got Camden, Maple Shade.
Cool.
My great-grandparents moved there in the early 1920s.
Wow.
And my grandfather, he grew up in western Pennsylvania, Somerset County, not far from where Flight 93 went down. Like it went down like near his backyard. Yeah.
That's terrible.
And but he disliked New Jersey so much that he lied about his age and signed up and joined the Navy.
Yeah.
Even though he got seasick.
Sure.
Like he figures getting sick is being better than being stuck in this shithole town in New Jersey, which is a wonderful town, by the way, in case I plan to go back and visit my family again.
Jersey is less shitty than Maryland? Truthfully?
I mean, it's always like we have our own little quirks.
Sure.
It's like,
Give
like,
me a quirk.
Well, I'll give you an example. Like Florida has a thing. Like Florida has this dubious reputation that like when the hurricane went up through there last week, it started as just shy of a Category 5 storm.
Sure.
And then by the time it left Florida, it was all the way down to a tropical storm, like, which just goes to show that Florida will suck the life and the sense of purpose out of anything.
Yes. Very
And
true.
therefore, by the time it got up to the mid-Atlantic states, it just fizzled out because it did not want to put up with Maryland traffic at all. Like it gets there, and even the hurricane says, "Fuck this."
Right.
Like, I'm not-
Right. Completely. I guess
But
you're right. I
if-
guess you're right. That's
if
fair.
there was like LA, they're always worried about the big one, the big earthquake hitting.
Right.
Like if one happened in Maryland, like the drivers there would not be phased. They would be driving along like, oh man, I can't be late for work. Oh, don't worry, I can go ahead and jump that chasm that's just opened up in the middle of the Beltway because we do that kind of stuff. We're nuts like that.
Off-roading on the road, right? Just being reckless, just being absolutely reckless and crazy. Well, but
And people wonder why I am the way I am. It's from growing up in that state. So
right, it's from jumping other cars and getting away with it and never getting arrested and just being on the run. So that's why you're here, because you're on the run.
Tommy Knievel. That's me.
Yes, exactly. That is what you are. But you had you said a pretty decent train experience today. But then when we were talking about the train, you mentioned something when we were doing our sound check, and I said, don't say another word. We're going to hold that thought. I'm going to forget about it, and then you're going to bring it up during the pod. So what the fuck were you talking about?
Well, I was just getting ready to say, like, I love I love taking the train. I love taking Amtrak a lot more than flying and taking the Megabus, just because of the fact that
Megabus is dick, but yeah.
Right. It's like, Megabus says, we have Wi-Fi. I went ahead and asked the driver one time. It said, you said you have Wi-Fi on this bus? I said, we don't have Wi-Fi on the bus. We just have it in the office. Now sit your skinny ass down. The fucking bus is moving.
Wow. Wait, in the office of what?
They have the Wi-Fi in the office of the Megabus. Yeah.
There's
like
an
the Megabus office, like their
section.
little... their headquarters, wherever.
Which is not on a bus.
The bus is, right.
So there's no section of the bus where you can work. That's crazy. Why would they be advertising that they have Wi-Fi where they work? That's like JetBlue. We have, fried chicken. And it's like, no, we have fried chicken where I am, but not where you fly.
But I mean, I love taking the train. And just for the very reason that I love the quiet car,
Right.
I'm a huge fan of it, because you see those videos online of like people bringing out their guitars and breaking into song on flights.
Right.
And me being as antisocial as I am, I'm just like, I can't deal with this shit.
No.
Like, I would not want it. And there's no way out. I want to leave this flight. I don't care that we're 30 feet or 30,000 feet above Nebraska,
Right.
and I don't have a parachute. I want to get out of this flight.
Right.
But I mean, I've had some harrowing experiences on trains, like trains stopped
Tell
because
me
of
about your
obstructions.
grandfather or whatever you were saying before.
Well, I figured this is my great-great-grandfather, and I figure no experience could be as bad as the one my great-great-grandfather had, where it was New Year's Eve, he was drinking one night, and this is out in western Pennsylvania, Somerset County. At this one station, there was a little platform area next to the tracks where drunks could sleep off.
Of course, yeah.
Their hangover.
Right.
And apparently, he had
The
gotten
YMCA
off
track.
of
Sorry. Yeah.
he had gotten off of the he'd gotten off the train at this what he thought was this particular station, but he ended up falling asleep on the track. So the train that came by and killed him.
He died?
That's typically what happens. Like human, like
Wait, but that's not how the story started.
if a
when
train
you were
goes
telling
up,
it
like if a
earlier.
train goes up against the car is fucked.
No,
A person doesn't stand a chance.
I hear
It's physics,
you.
it's science.
We are on the same page, but what I'm saying is when you started telling the story, you made it seem as though your grandfather escaped certain death and that it was a crazy thing and not that he just died and it ended there.
No, it was, I mean, that's typically what happens.
Well, God rest his soul. I don't mean to laugh so hard about your great-great-grandfather dying.
He's been dead more than 100 years. I don't give a shit.
Wow. Does he... Are you named after anyone in your family?
I am named after.
Seems like a family name, Tom Myers. Seems like you're the third or something.
I am named after my dad's best man at his wedding, who is actually an uncle related to him by marriage.
Okay, so he
right. This gentleman married my dad's aunt, and they were really tight, and he was the best man at my parents' wedding.
Oh wow! Do you like him?
I have never actually met him, and he's since passed away. Like that particular side of the family, like there's always this interesting dynamic where it was like they were close, and then they drifted apart for a little bit. And
sure,
but no, this uncle of my dad's just passed away a couple years ago.
Oh, I'm sorry
I think.
to hear that.
So
yeah,
and no, from what I understand, it was a good guy, and then. The various names of my family have just been passed down through the years. Like my mother's name is Sarah, and she was named after my great grandmother, who emigrated from England in the late 1800s.
Wow.
And she had a bit of a reputation as someone who. Like, she was the original, like, I wish a motherfucker would type person.
Hell yeah.
Like, her husband and her brothers-in-law would all go out to the tavern and just get absolutely shit-faced and hammered and come home.
Of course.
She'd be out to, greet him, not wanting him in the house. So she would whip off her belt and just whip all these burly, big, drunken, like, coal miner guys.
Cool bitch.
And they would go sleep in the barn. Yeah. That's who my mother's named after.
Sarah.
She did the same thing with one of her son's teachers, because back then teachers used to like paddle kids if they misbehaved.
And we miss that, right? That's a good. We should
and
get back
I was
to that.
just on the cusp of the paddle when they got rid of paddling and physical abuse in schools. But she took the idea that nobody beats my kid but me. So she went up to the school and just did, according to the family story, did the same thing to this teacher. Just
I totally
whipped the shit out of him with her belt.
I would beat anyone who lays hands on my kid. Not that I have a kid right now, but
right.
Yeah. Did you go to Catholic school?
No.
No. Are you Catholic?
I was raised Catholic.
Yeah, I was raised Catholic as well.
I was the only one in my family. I have one older sister, one older brother. They both went to Catholic school. I went to private school because there were developmental issues growing up.
Sure.
And just the Catholic schools at the time didn't have the programs necessary to treat what I had.
Sure.
And they might now. I mean, I don't know, but the programs in the public school system where I grew up, that helped me get acclimated into a normal classroom setting.
Awesome. That's what you want.
That's pretty much the reason why I just joke about horrific things instead of actually doing them right now. Like those classes basically helped channel my aggressions into just words instead of deeds. My brain is just wired differently.
Yeah.
And I think it may reflect in my reputation amongst the various comedy communities.
You're coolin'. You know what I mean? You're fine.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, you're good. But no, I know like the way that you are brought up in school and the way that other students treat you will have a bearing on like how angry of a person one grows up to be. You know, like you see it a lot with people who are, school shooters, which you are obviously not, nor do I think you have like, no offense, but I don't think you have what it takes to shoot up a school. You have the manhood, but you don't have the brokenness. I'm glad that you were cared for in a way that prevented you from shooting up a school. I guess is what I'm saying.
I have the super mega majority DNA, born around the North Sea ancestry, white guy, blonde hair, blue eyes, receding hairline, background. Just the practicality, the application. No,
right?
I don't
exactly.
No,
you don't have a bad bone in your body. That's why we're friends. I would be able to smell danger from 10 miles away. Trust and believe, Tom Myers. But yeah. Did you go to college?
I did.
Where?
I went to Goucher College.
Oh, word.
It's in Towson, which is just north of Baltimore, Maryland. Graduated with a bachelor's degree in history. And that was where I started doing open mics in the little coffee house on campus.
Of course. Same.
That not too many people would sign up for those, so I would just go on stage and do like 20 minutes and then
whoa. Just
and then
fucking go off for 20 minutes. Damn.
And then, someone behind it was non-alcoholic pub, so someone just behind the little bar areas they would just kind of give me a little wrap-up thing. I'd go ahead and finish, then someone would come up and play a guitar or something. It was a very
super
chill atmosphere.
Yeah.
And I also managed to secure myself a gig for the junior senior year at my college's radio station. I did my own had my own show, not unlike the podcast that I do now, where I just talk about current events, but I played a lot of music as well because we were licensed to do that. Like my podcast isn't. I haven't bought any of the the Sony, the whatever.
Totally.
I haven't figured out how to do all that licensing shit.
Yeah.
But that was
you got spin tracks. That's a cool. What was your radio show called?
It was called the Tom Myers Radio Hour.
Hell yeah.
And then when it expanded to 2 hours, I had to change it to, it was the Myers Experience.
Oh, fuck yeah.
So, yeah, Joe Rogan, that bald fuck, stole that title from me.
Totally. I stole it from both of you because when I was gigging in college, I had my alter ego or like alias or whatever was Aphrodite and the Electric Sex Experience. And I thought that was the most
I thought you looked familiar. Wait a minute. Hey, it was...
You're a fan of 18-year-old Lauren, are you? I don't know. I am too. She was great.
So this would have been about what, 5-6 years ago?
8 years ago.
Oh, okay.
8 years ago. Yeah, I'm 26. How old are you?
I'll be 40 in January.
Oh my God. January what? We have to have a birthday party.
29th.
January 29th.
Yep.
If you think I'm going to forget that, you're dead fucking wrong. Oh, we're going to have a party, dude.
I'm already working on some stuff for the... I'm looking at putting together a show for my 40th birthday down in the Baltimore area. No, I've already done like a couple of roasts and a couple of roast battles. So I think I just want this just to be a straight comedy show. Just invite some very close friends of mine to perform. People I've known for years. I don't really have the details for that down yet, but they'll be. The promo whore that I am, I'll do it.
Whore, recognize whore. Put her there. We actually met at a comedy fight club.
We did.
Was that last year? It was like August last year or the year before?
Something like that, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it was some time last summer.
Yeah. I think it was just after they started letting up on all the COVID restrictions. I think it was right before. It was, I think, during Delta, before Omicron, or one of those variants, which is interesting because the previous time I did Fight Club, which is the first time I did it, it was literally less than 2 weeks before they shut everything down because of COVID. It was in early March of 2020.
Wow.
And COVID at the time was just, everybody was just talking about it as a little footnote in people's comedy sets. There's just going to be this thing that happens.
Sure.
It's going to be kind of like the way monkeypox is now, or people joked about Ebola or whatever, or whoever, whatever big name comic in 1980, or Charlie Chaplin, those influenza jokes. He thought he was being so revolutionary, and then it came along, and then they accused him of being a communist, and his career was fucked. That's poor Charlie.
Poor Charlie is right. Comedy Fight Club was a staple in my COVID kind of goings on, I guess. There was literally nothing to do, and all comedy and all plans in life had been shut down, and Fight Club was just and I know they don't give a shit if I say anything now, but in October or so, like of 2020, they were doing shows at the Wawa Social Club in Jersey, like underground, basically just being like, yo, if we don't do a show, like we're all going to kill ourselves anyway. So like, you know, as long as you don't live with like elderly parents or elderly people, or like you don't care if you get sick, you're not harming other people, like let's get behind the bar, let's do this, let's have a show. And let's have a good time. And that
is it really called the Wawa Social Club, or did they just find a Wawa and just say it was a social club? Or
it's been said. It's been accused, rather. It's.
Speaking of which, come see me. I'm doing 3 weeks at the 7-Eleven Cabaret.
Yeah.
And,
yeah. I mean, it might as well be. I mean. If it's a Wawa, it's the worst Wawa in history. It's a cop bar. It's like it's 100 years old, or at this point 101 years old, and a bunch of men started it, you know, fucking 100 years ago, and just said like, you know, our stupid bitch wives can't find us here. And over
you talking about the bar or Comedy Fight Club?
Oh, if you think they have wives, you're out of your goddamn mind. That's a hell no. But now it's like
I love Comedy Fight Club, by the way.
No, we do too. Yeah,
fun,
we all love Comedy Fight Club. It's how I got back into comedy after taking a small break during college. And those guys are awesome. It's a fun show, no holds barred. Everyone's just like going for the throat all the time, and that's a good way to jump into things in a way that like people can just kind of tear you to shreds.
Hard to imagine how I got involved in it.
Yeah, how did you get involved in it?
I was invited by Michael Harrington.
Oh yeah,
back when it was on at Gas Digital,
right?
Because I had done a couple episodes of Real Ass Podcast, Louis J. Gomez's show,
of course.
And then Harrington wanted to bring me on for Comedy Fight Club, so that was the show that I did with where my opponent was Robbie Goodwin.
Oh, cool!
And like
Robbie.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah,
actually helped me. Get my podcast started in terms of distribution, like show me here's what you got to do, here's a service I use, and help me out with that. So I'm forever, I will go to my grave being thankful for him, to him as a result of that.
To Harrington. Robbie.
Well, to Robbie.
Oh, nice.
For helping me out with the podcast thing.
Nice.
So Robbie ended up winning, but the comments that he received, like there were people who felt that I should have won.
Yeah.
Like it was basically like the people who stormed the Capitol on January 6th. It was that level of anger when they found out that I had lost this fucking thing.
Oh my God.
And what was really weird about it is I did the second one where I ended up winning that one. Go figure. Barely anybody gave a shit.
That's
it
what
was like
that?
Yeah.
I was judging that.
Yeah.
I had a say in you winning.
Yes.
I did the right thing. I did
Yes,
God's
did.
work that day. Yeah. No, you murdered. It was awesome.
You don't want to go against that. They're called the Myers Maniacs for a reason.
I was going to ask what your fans are called.
I did not give them that name.
Who did?
They did. Like
the Myers Maniacs.
The Myers Maniacs.
Ooh, I like that.
That was another one. Tom Heads is another one.
Tom Heads.
Myers Flyers, the My Hive, I've heard, but I don't see. Here's the thing:
the My High Club.
My Hive.
No,
Hive.
High Club.
HIVE.
Having sex on a plane.
But these are my fans we're talking about. All right.
Do people try to fuck in the DMs? Like, are people in your DMs? Because I obviously, like, you know, every girl on the planet, there are people in your DMs who are it's like, oh my God, I want to suck on your tits. And it's like, literally, you're a stranger. Do you get people in your DMs who are just like creeping on you and you're like, get away from me. This is obnoxious.
Do I get people who want to suck on my tits? I wish I did.
You wish you did. Be careful what you wish for. Millions of people will see this. Before you leave the building today, you're going to have people sucking on your tits. But, yeah.
New York, where dreams are made of. I'm
so glad you're here. This is a fucking blast. Well, look, I mean, this is, I guess, a good time to segue. Not that we're going to change gears entirely, but, and of course, we'll plug what you're doing later and, you know, the rest of the week, all the stuff that you have coming up. But this is a dating and relationships podcast. We're not going to get too in the weeds. I promised you. You have my word still. If there's territory you don't want to touch, just say pass, and I won't grill you about it. But you know, how is it being Tom Myers in single America?
I mean, I guess it's easy for me to be single because I'm just so busy with various things that I'm doing. Like I've spent the last nearly 10 years either just directly or just peripherally helping run a restaurant near where I live.
Oh yeah.
So that has basically killed my killed my dating life in particular. So then I have that. I'm always busy writing for the podcast, and before that, when I was on a podcast called Politipod, which is a political sketch comedy show.
Yep.
Before I left that and started my own, then I'm always like writing stand up, trying to get booked, just going out to various shows. And on my weekends, from about mid-March up until literally the weekend before Thanksgiving, I do public address announcing for youth baseball tournaments near where I live. So
yes, I know that as well.
It's basically a job that I have where I like what I do. I watch baseball. I get to talk into a microphone.
Yeah.
And I get paid for it.
Love that.
I love that. So really, I think like the right person would have to come along, I think, to really make me, make some, reasonable
concessions
or adjustments.
Sure.
Anyway, just because like I have, if I had to make any changes, like I would probably cut back on the stand up a little bit because because the traveling, especially like I said earlier, I'm going to be 40 in January. Like the traveling is getting to be a little harrowing. It was fun at first, just going to all the various places and like traveling to 30 some states plus DC and Canada. All that was fun.
Yeah, setting around.
And now I think COVID helped me realize like I enjoy just staying at home more.
Sure.
Like
that's fair.
Like there's the phrase social distancing. Like I was doing that.
You're good at it.
I was doing that before COVID. Only I called it telling people. Only I called it telling people to fuck off.
Fair.
Like that was
same. No, I feel you. It's sometimes other people. I mean, most of the time, other people piss you off, whatever. Other people can be. If you're, I don't know if it's like an introvert versus extrovert type of thing, but sometimes you just think better when you're alone, or you just feel more comfortable when you're alone. You don't have to perform for anybody or entertain anybody or spend money on anybody, and it's just easier to do things alone. But I do want to jump in real quick.
And I think real quick, I think comedy is really the best medicine for like introverts who want to be extroverts.
I mean, it's hard for people to do that. Like if you are an introverted person and all of a sudden you have to go up on stage under lights and like expose yourself to people. I mean, I don't know if that sounds stupid, but like, I guess that is true. If you have to do that, it could be kind of like wild and, maybe it's seemingly impossible depending on how tweaky you are as an individual. But
like literally the only part of stand-up I enjoy doing is actually doing it. Like traveling to the city, getting to the club, and then just the waiting around.
Yeah,
that part.
Because you don't drink, right?
No,
right. So that's 10 times worse.
Yeah, I've been sober for 10 and a half years now.
Oh, congrats!
Thank you.
Very cool.
And then so really the only things I like are just like the actual performing, and then when the random person shows up, says they love me, wants to take a photo with me, do that. I'll stay for photos, and then like once I get my check, I'll leave. Yeah, and that part I'm good at.
So where in all of these endeavors, the restaurant, the baseball calling, everything, the traveling, the podcast, has there ever been someone that you had a crush on? You don't have to name anybody. You don't have to describe them too much. But like, has there ever been like one person where you're like, I could see myself with this person. I have a crush on them.
Yeah. I actually went on a date few months back, just someone I happened to chat up on the train. I happened to be in the club car at the time, just because I was getting something to eat, and
step out of your comfort zone a little bit.
Table. Yeah,
we leave the quiet car, we go into the club car.
We're hungry. We want food. Really, that's the only thing that brings me out of my shell.
Was she eating too?
Food. She was.
What did she eat? Do you remember?
I think she ate her words about wanting to go out with me later on. But,
oh my God. Tell me about her. Tell me a little bit about her. You don't have to, no names, no where she's from, but like, what did she look like?
A little shorter than me. Sort of darker, like darkish hair, which I'm actually attracted to dark hair just because like 99, hey. It's because like 99% of the women in my family have light or blondish hair like me. So it was like, yeah, I want to
get the fuck away from that.
Break away
you
from
don't
that,
want to fuck your mom. You have no like, weird Oedipus complex.
Oh God, no.
Okay.
No.
Well, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are like that. People that are opposite of their parents. I'm actively fucking my dad. So I'm just kidding. That was a joke. You were like, no, that makes a lot of sense that you would say that. No.
I was like, look, this is New York City. I mean, this is
2022.
This is where SVU is set. Like, Benson and Stabler trend every single week on Twitter. Like, it's normal for that kind of occurrence to happen.
Well, anyway, I digress.
That happens when you interview me.
Oh, I know. I'm thrilled. So she was a little shorter, darker hair. What about her eyes? She has pretty eyes.
But of course.
Yeah.
I'm very picky when it comes. I'm very high maintenance.
Very high maintenance.
When it comes to that sort of thing.
In what way?
I mean, I have a particular type.
Sure.
In that, like, I don't necessarily want them to be. I like them to have an interest in what I do, but I don't necessarily want them to be like outright sarcastic or just
boisterous,
right? Or try and necessarily one up me or try and get me to perform when I'm not performing.
Yeah. It could be very obnoxious when people don't see you as a person.
Right.
And they just think that you're some kind of like laugh monkey, right? Like that sucks. But she treated
Stick a dollar in my backside, press the button, press F15. Hey, he can do, yeah, there you go. Now recite the bong hit transplant joke for me again.
Right,
yeah, come on. That's I don't like that. I just want to be by myself. Yeah,
totally.
So it's like she doesn't necessarily. That's why I could never date another comedian. Like I see comedians dating, and I'm like, why? Like the fun of visiting family, the fun of being with someone. The times that I've done that has always been just being with someone who's not in that world.
Right.
I'm not saying that I would, never date someone in show business or another comedian or anything like that. But it's just I have set parameters, and if those parameters aren't met, then it's not going to work. It throws the wild and crazy nature that is me off of its axis.
Do you think you're wild and crazy?
I mean, I certainly was during my drinking days.
Sure.
I mean, just
did you slang a lot of dick during the drinking days? Did you get around the block? Did you fuck? Did Tom Myers fuck?
I slang a lot of dick jokes from stage.
Well, did you fuck anybody? No, it's fine.
I fucked my career a couple times.
Hey, well, but then you did the right thing. You went and got sober, and I mean, not that that's the right thing. I mean, sometimes you can get back on track, but it was right for you.
I mean, it was for me.
Yeah.
I did a show, the very last night of drinking I performed in a town in Maryland called Port Deposit.
Oh.
And it's, I'll tell you how rough this town is. It was just down the road from a town in Maryland called Elkton, which back in the 60s and 70s used to be the world headquarters for the Ku Klux Klan.
Oh, fuck.
So, okay. keeping that in mind.
That's where you found your future wife. That's where you fucked. You just went drinking and you went to the KKK headquarters and you shot
the way
loads
she
and
starched
everybody.
those sheets. No.
Oh wow, the way you starched the sheets with your cum.
So.
Anyway.
So I was just hanging outside this venue after I was performing, and this one drunk had taken some issue with something I said and wanted to fight me in the parking lot.
God, no.
So he started swinging a couple times, and then I don't know if he just lost consciousness or just somehow knocked himself out because he collapsed on the parking lot. So I looked at him crumpled, just passed out on the ground, and I said, "This is probably a good time for me to leave."
Wow.
And then I left, and then I woke up the following morning, New Year's Eve 2011, and I just said, "That's it. I'm done."
Wow.
And I'd been through about a half a dozen sobriety kicks before.
Sure.
Like lasting anywhere from like 3 days to 9 months. But this is the first time it's lasted longer than a year.
Hell yeah.
And on top of that, the day I quit, I remembered I was going to a friend's birthday party, which was held at it's a well-known sports bar in Maryland called the Green Turtle. So my very first day of the sobriety kick, I was just hanging around with people drinking.
Sure.
And
wow.
That was
a true test of the Lord.
And well, I mean, then running the bar / restaurant.
Yeah.
And just pouring drinks, serving them, making the drinks.
Is it
that's
hard?
the tempt. I mean, of course. I mean, the temptation's always there.
Yeah.
Like,
I used to do a lot of cocaine, and I don't anymore. I haven't in almost a year. And I'm like around it all the time, and I'm like not even tempted or phased because like how badly my life could have gone. Like I hit rock bottom pretty much like the week after I met you. It's like really bad. I like flipped all the furniture in my apartment and got into a very violent fight with my ex who we are on good terms now, but like it was just so bad that like now I see blow and I'm like, no. Like, I'm never going to do that. Like, it's just not worth it. It's not worth it. But yeah, I understand how it could be hard to be around that stuff. But I want to go back just a little bit to wrap up this date story because I want to know where you went. Where'd you take her on the date? Did you take her on the date or did you just mutually like meet at a place and split the bill and then leave? Like, what is like, how does Tom Myers do that? You know?
Well, this particular instance, I mean, my options are fairly limited now, just because of the sobriety. Like, I have no problem meeting someone in a bar or something. I mean, I just do what I do whenever I'm at a comedy show. I'll just drink like ginger ale or club soda,
of course,
or something.
Yeah.
And but no, we mutually agreed to meet at a diner. I mean, it was her insistence. It was her idea.
Nice.
So we met, and then she has this job where she works overseas, and I think she's getting ready to. I mean, she might be moving back to the area sometime soon. So
overseas.
I mean, we've lost touch a little bit, and then like she'll like some of my social media posts. So I was like, okay, she'll see that, and she'll be there, but it's. At this time, anyway, it's nothing too serious, and I have nothing serious going on at the moment. In terms of romance, it's very, very quiet.
Sure. Where do you think you'll find your dream woman? Do you think you're going to find her? Do you have hope that you're going to get married? Is that something you care about? Do you want to get married?
I certainly wouldn't mind it. But ultimately, I think just the way I've made certain decisions in my life and certain career choices and certain things I do, I have a feeling the closest I'll come to meeting my dream woman is when she shuts off the life-saving apparatus that's hooked up to me when I'm in my hospital bed
and you go into your
like
forever
age
sleep.
96.
No, I have
something.
hope. I want to help you find your person, not without your consent, of course. And we're not going to do that right this second, but I want to know like a little bit about like I want you to paint the picture of the dream woman past just dark hair and like shorter than you, or what kind of hobbies does she have? Take me through this woman. Do you have like Tinder or
No.
Hinge or any dating app? Have you tried them before?
I tried Facebook dating, but that is just like there's a reason I think these people feel relegated to Facebook dating.
What?
It's just this is because they've tried all those other dating apps, and they're just like, fuck it, this is the absolute last resort.
What is it
It's like
on Facebook dating?
It's like when the sort of people who just comment unnecessarily on your social media posts.
Just like wacky people.
Even worse.
Worse?
Even worse.
What's the wackiest thing that's ever happened to you on Facebook dating?
So for a while I had as my profile something along the lines of Biden didn't steal the election. Cops shouldn't murder black people, like stuff like that. Like
right.
I kind of come out and just say
two truths and a lie.
Right.
I'm just kidding. But yeah.
and then this Trump supporter just did the thing where there's apparently if you comment on someone's photo or comment on something on Facebook dating, it shows up as a like. So I thought I got this like from someone, and then she just berated me for my opinions. Just said like, "I'm a Christian. I'll be praying for you," so
what a loon.
Me being me, just the practice that I get from various social media folks, I just went back and forth, and then she ended up blocking me, which was
fucking bitch. If you see this, fuck you. You missed out on the best dick of your life, bitch. Well, how like old would you go for a woman?
I mean, around my age.
Yeah.
Probably.
How young? Obviously, there's a legal threshold.
Yeah.
So, assuming that we're obeying that.
Probably around my age. I don't think I could see myself dating like someone, like a 19 or a 20-year-old, because that would just be like everything that would just represent everything I hate about like age disparities.
Well, sure. Is it that it's creepy, or that like they're vapid, or both?
I don't necessarily know. I think there's this stigma that it's like the person's trying to hang on to their youth or something.
What about like forgetting about what other people think? Like, could you see yourself dating someone that is 20 years old if no one cared? Possibly, yeah. And if they were into me, obviously. Yeah. Like that would have to be, that would be a big factor. I would, yeah. That's an important factor. Definitely want the woman to be into you. And also, like, I'm not trying to like pigeonhole you into being a straight person. Are you a straight person? Yeah. Okay. Just I forgot that I didn't ask. So anyway, yeah. Look, like, I've got a dick. It's not that impressive. I don't need another one. All right. Fair enough. Well, maybe another dick would show you, I don't know, inspire something. I don't know. What about, we covered age. What about like industry? If you're not dying to date someone in the comedy or entertainment world, then like what would the ideal industry be? Also, are you a tit guy or an ass guy? I mean, like the industry. So job necessarily. Job is one, and then tits or ass is the second question. Obviously, at my age, I'll take what I can get. But your preference? Do you have a preference? No. Okay, fair enough. Because I remember like something that Ron White said on one of his albums, where it said something along the lines like, beauty fades, but stupidity is forever. Correct. Like like the more like the older I get, like the more I realize, you know what, I'm more concerned about the personality. Good. That's good to hear. I mean, looking nice is a bonus, obviously. Of course. And but it's good to hear when guys actually, give a shit about what comes out of a woman's mouth, other than their cum, right? We love that for guys. Or how about a sandwich or something like that? To come out of her mouth? You want a girl to be walking around. She's like a sandwich person. You open her mouth and you're like, babe, I'm hungry. And she's like, ah. Oh, honestly,
That's not mayo.
I could. Oh, God damn it, Tom.
You brought this shit up.
I know. It's fun. We're having a good time. Where would your ideal date be? Like if you had like $10,000 and the woman of your dreams, what would you do? And you already did.
If I had $10,000,
no,
I'm
for
going
a date, Tom.
I'm going to Vegas and putting it on number 17 on the roulette wheel
on black.
And I is 17 black?
I don't know. I have no fucking idea.
That.
I hate Vegas and numbers. I'm just kidding. If you had 10 grand and you already knew the girl enough so that like you didn't have to do the awkward like meeting phase thing, like you can just like have a good time and go on an excursion, where would you go? What would you do?
I mean, I'm more for doing stuff low key.
Yeah. So you're not into like bad girls.
I mean, listen, some people consider me a bad comic, so I don't want an equally...
You're not a bad comic or a bad guy, but good girl, bad girl, do you have a preference?
I mean...
Do you think I'm a good girl or a bad girl?
Put it this way. Would I have to, like, bail you out of lockup every week?
Every
week?
I
would not have to...
That's
like, I would not want to have
factor?
to... As an example, like, I would not want to have to, you know... I would not want to have to do that or spend my time like waiting in like, you know, district courtrooms waiting to take her home from some kind of
What if
like,
she was really hot and perfect? What if this girl was like, you know, Dua Lipa and she really wanted and she was just in jail every day? Would you do that? You would, right? I would too. I think I would.
I mean, she'd be a guest of mine every time I came up here to New York to do a show, possibly. But besides that, no.
Fair. Okay, that's fair. But like, so you don't want a bad girl,
right?
What's like a bad threshold? Let's play good girl, bad girl.
Okay.
I'm inventing this game right now.
All right.
So I'm gonna give you like a task that this girl would do, and or like some behavior. And you have to tell me if this is a good girl behavior or bad girl behavior.
All right.
All right. So you're out in public with this girl and you're holding hands and she like...
Good behavior.
You're out in public and that's a good sign. Okay. No, that's good. That is good. We should establish that being seen in public is ideal. We don't want the relationship to be a secret. Good. That's a good girl. She...
Only because I don't have paparazzi yet.
Of course. She yells at her mom on the phone. Is that bad girl or is that like okay?
It depends on the mom.
I guess.
Like, because I've met, like I've had dates where I've met some of their mothers. They were absolute screwballs.
Loons. Yeah.
And so it's... And then I've had relatives where I felt like doing that. So
sure.
It would all... It would all depend.
Girl that has been that had pegged guys in the past, like had fucked dudes in the butt in the past, but doesn't anymore. Is that a good girl or a bad girl? I
mean, if she's not willing, if we can establish ground rules that she doesn't do that with me,
right?
Like I could.
So if she tried to do that with you, bad girl.
Yes.
If she does not do that anymore, good girl.
Right.
Okay.
That's like this goes through enough. Like if I stop to get something to eat at Chipotle.
Yeah.
All right. Like I don't no, that's a traumatic experience enough.
Fair enough. All right. I'm gonna just as like one
you
or
said
two
Republican.
More. Yeah, Republican.
Are we talking like Trump Republican or normal Republican?
I guess normal. Normal.
Like as long as it's not like the election was like as long as not election was stolen,
not like a nut job, but someone who just might be like, I don't get abortion and I don't like it, but I can be talked into the right direction. Good girl?
Yeah.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. cheats on you but tells you about it immediately and feels remorse and never does it again.
No.
Bad girl.
Yeah.
No fixing that. That's bad girl.
I mean, it would be kind of difficult to overlook something like that because people who do that kind of thing generally have a habit of doing that.
Yeah.
So
repeat offenders in the house.
Yeah.
Totally.
Like I would be very suspect about that.
All right. Let's wrap up. We got pickup line. Give me a pickup line right now. You're fast on your feet, Tom. I know you are. You're the man. You're the man. You're the master. Give the babes out there, the dark-haired babes who are shorter than you, who are good girls, a little taste of what it's like on the Meyer side. Take a walk on the Meyer side.
Listen, I'm terminal. The doctor says I have 8 months left. I'm willing to max out my credit cards. Come on, let's go for a wild ride.
Tom Myers.
I can't.
That was delicious.
I can't get away from. I can't get away like the writing, especially.
No, you're a machine.
I never stopped doing it.
You're a machine. Tom Myers, sir, this has been a pleasure. Let the people know where they can find you and anything you want to plug.
Tom Myers, MYERS, tommyers.us is the website. You can find show dates on there. A link to the podcast as well. Tom Myers versus the Rest of the World airs Thursday nights at 10 p.m. on IPM Nation. The link is on the page. And Monday nights at 11 p.m. All Eastern times on a Harford County-based website called Odyssey Radio. The podcast episodes go up shortly thereafter. And bonus clips, extended interviews, exclusive early access to all episodes available on my Patreon, so go ahead and support that. Also, my socials are listed on the website as well.
Hell yeah. Tom, it's been an absolute pleasure. You were my sweetheart and my prince and my sweet, sweet angel cousin boy. You're not my actual cousin, but I feel like at this point we know each other well enough that I can call you somewhat of a cousin. Can we agree with that? No? Oh my God.
I tell you what, as many relatives as I've alienated on social media.
I'm gonna park my car in the train tracks.
in the post 2016 election era, I can use some new family members. So sure, why not?
All right, sir. You are very special, and I really appreciate having you in the studio today.
Thanks for having me.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Lauren's Dreamhouse. I am Lauren. This is Tom. Later.